Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of our Iron Hall Kids Corner this week online. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether or not you're on Facebook or on YouTube. We really do appreciate you joining with us this week. As usual, if you've been watching over the last few weeks, you'll know that we're going to have a few songs, and then we're going to have a lesson or a wee story from the Bible this week, and that's going to be given to us by one of my really good friends, Connor. But just before we get cracking into all of that, I've just got a bit of news for you. And if those of you who join with us each week in children's meeting or in Sunday school, you'll know that each summer we have our holiday Bible club in the church. But as you can imagine, with all that's been going on recently, we aren't able to do that in person this year. But don't worry, because we're still going to have an online program, so it'll be similar enough to what we've been having each week with Kids Corner, except there's going to be a lot more in it, more stories, more quizzes, and lots of other exciting things for you to join in and watch every night for a week in August. Now, David is going to be here next week, and he's going to tell us a bit more about it next week, so you have to come back and listen for more details then. But we're going to have Andy and Ruth Lavelle with us, who have been to our Holiday Bible Club before, and they're going to be coming along every night that week to give us stories and lots of other things from the Bible. So that's the plan for the Holiday Bible Club. But as I said, there's more to follow on that next week, so be sure to tune in and listen for that. But our first song this week is all about Jesus. Now, I think we've heard this one before, and it's all about, as we look through history, we see that Jesus has always influenced things and always been present. And when we step back and look at the bigger picture, we realise that it's all about God and what he's created and what he's done for us. So I hope you enjoy this song and you can sing along, because there's also actions to go along with it.
Every word of your word is true. They were all breathed out by you. Your spirit wrote through men like a pen in the hand of a God who knew that we would need to know how much you love us so. You wrote it down for us forever. Oh, from Genesis to Revelation, there's one story of your great salvation. It's all about Jesus. Oh, it's all about Jesus. Shout now from every page. There's one hero that'll save the day. It's all about Jesus. Oh, it's all about Jesus. Every word of your word gives light, like the sun that shines so bright. It leads us day by day to the one, the way, the truth, the light. And every time we read, you give us what we need to grow in grace and know you better. Oh, from Genesis to Revelation, there's one story of your great salvation. It's all about Jesus. Oh, it's all about Jesus. Shout now from every page. There's one hero that'll save the day. It's all about Jesus. Oh, it's all about Jesus.
Now, that's definitely one of my new favourite songs that I've discovered over the last few weeks as we've been using it on Kids Corner, and I hope you've enjoyed it as well. Now, we've got one more song before Connor comes along and he's going to speak to us, and it's one that we know really well from singing, especially on a Wednesday night in children's meeting, and it is called All Through History. Because when you look back through the Bible, you can see that how so many people have done great things and they have lived their life pleasing to God. So that's what we're going to listen about in this next song, and then Connor is going to come along and give us our story for this week.
Noah built the most enormous boat that kept the birds and animals afloat. The Lord was good, the Lord was strong, and Noah lived his life for him. Moses led his people through the sea, taking them away from slavery. The Lord was good, the Lord was strong, and Moses lived his life for him. Oh, thank you, that all through history you were faithful. Thank you, that you are just the same when shepherd boy became a king. The Lord was good, the Lord was strong, and David lived his life for him. Daniel was inside a lion's den. God brought him to safety once again. The Lord was good, the Lord was strong, and Daniel lived his life for him. Oh, thank you, that all through history you were faithful. Thank you, that you are just the same when it comes to me. When it comes to me. Jesus died to take away our sin, so we could get to know our God again. The Lord is good, the Lord is strong, and we will live our lives for Him. Oh, thank you, all through history you were faithful. Thank you, you are just the same when it comes to me. Thank you, that all through history you were faithful. Thank you, that you are just the same when it comes to me. When it comes to me. When it comes to me. When it comes to me.
Hello boys and girls, my name is Connor and my friend Matthew Murray has asked me to speak to you today. So I'm really excited to bring you today's story, and that story is called The Parable of the Lost Son. Now you've maybe heard of the word parable before. It's quite a strange word, but the word parable can best be explained by calling it an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. So it's a story about something that happens in real life that's maybe quite a normal story, but underneath, there's actually a really important message that we can learn. So today's story is the parable of the lost son, and you've maybe heard this story before. It's quite a common one in the Bible. So I thought to make it a little bit more interesting, I'm going to use a glass of water to help explain it. So today's story starts off with a father and his two sons. And the father says to both sons, "Here is the money that I've been saving up for you." Now, one son decides to keep working for the father and earning up more money, and he'll maybe use all that money that's been saved up further down the line. But the other son thinks, "This is great. Look at all this money," and his eyes light up. So he takes all his money and he runs to a nearby town, leaving behind everything, his father, his family, everything that he's known. And this son goes out and spends all his money. Now, this money could have probably lasted him the rest of his life if he'd been sensible. But instead, the son goes out and he spends a little bit of money here, he spends a little bit of money there, and soon he finds that he has wasted all his money and it's all gone. Now, boys and girls, you may have been wondering why I was pouring this strange liquid into this glass. But as you know, at the start of this story, the glass was clear, the water was perfect, it was beautiful, and that represented what the son was like. He was really good, but then he went away to this nearby town and he spent all his money, and in fact we're told that after he'd spent all his money, he had nothing left, and that he had to go and live in a pigsty, and he even was so poor that he ate the pig's food. Can you imagine all those rotten vegetables? And that was what he ate. So as he went out and he spent all this money, he became dirty, he became poor, and really, he probably looked at himself and this is what he saw. He thought, I am rubbish. I am dirty. I'm not nice anymore. And in fact, it got to the point where he was so down, he was so sad, he had nothing left. and he thought, I'm going to go back to my father. And now you can imagine as he was walking home, he was probably really nervous. He'd left his family and his father behind and said, see you later, I don't need you guys anymore. But now he was coming back. And to be honest, I think he only thought that he was going to maybe have to work for his father. I don't think he thought that his father would like him anymore or want him anymore. But we find out in our story that's not the case. See, he thought that his father would look at him and go, what have you become? You're dirty. You are not my son anymore. But actually, whenever he comes back, the father runs to him with open arms, and all the bad things that he has done, all the money that he has wasted, he forgets about. In fact, he forgives his son, and he sees him as the beautiful, pure glass of water again. He sees his son as the joy that he was before. See, all the bad things he had done was forgotten about, and he throws this massive party celebrating that we're told that he kills his biggest cow to put it on the fire to cook, to throw a big banquet and have an amazing time because he was so thankful that his son had returned. Now, boys and girls, you remember maybe at the start of this story that I told you that it's a parable. And as I said, a parable is a heavenly story with an earthly meaning. Now, earthly story with a heavenly meaning. So maybe you're wondering, we've had our earthly story. We've had our story of the lost son going away and coming back. But now, what is the heavenly meaning? What could the dirty glass of water and the clear one mean to us? Well, you know, boys and girls, in the Bible and in real life, there's this thing called sin. And sin is in all of us. We're told it's in us whenever we're born. And we continue to do things that are sinful throughout our lives. And as we sin, as we do naughty things that aren't pleasing to God, that makes us dirty. That makes us unclean in God's eyes. And God doesn't like that. In fact, God is pure. God is this glass of water here. And he can't bear to look at things that are dirty because he is so perfect. But actually, in the Bible, that wasn't the end story. God doesn't say, I can't look at you. You're so horrible and gross and yucky that I don't want to have anything to do with you. In fact, I'm sure you all know that that's not the case. Because what God did to get around this problem was he sent his son Jesus. And whenever Jesus died on the cross, he took away our sins. He took away all our yuckiness, all the bad things that we've done and will continue to do. He took that all away. And in God's eyes now, because of what Jesus did for us, we are now like this beautiful, pure, perfect glass of water. In God's eyes, we are perfect because all the bad things we've done and all the bad things we do have been taken away. And do you know what the best thing about that is, boys and girls? Because they have been taken away, now God, who is perfect as well, can call us close. Now this God, who is amazing and who loves us so much, sees us as perfect. And that means that we can be close to him and have a relationship with him. And that's something that if you believe in Jesus, that if you ask God to take away your sins, to take away all the yuckiness inside us, then that's something that God will do, and we will be able to enjoy a relationship, enjoy learning more about God and becoming closer to him throughout our lives. So that's the story for today. I hope you learned something new, and I hope that the next time you have a clear glass of water, you remember God's perfection and how we can be made perfect through his son dying on the cross.
Well, a huge thank you to Connor for doing that story for us this week on the Lost Son, and a big thank you to you as well for staying with us and watching this episode. Now, as I said, next week we have got a lot going on. We've got David, who's going to come along and give us a bit of an update about the Holiday Bible Club and what you can expect to go up during August. Ben's going to be along to do the story, and it's actually sad next week because that is our final episode of July, and we're going to take a wee break in August. But then, as I said, we'll be back again during August for the Holiday Bible Club, and you can keep your eyes peeled on Facebook and on our website for more information about that as it comes. Now, just to finish this week, we've got a really good song which I know everyone really loves to join in with at home, and it is called God is For Me. And it's a reminder of a verse in the Bible that says, if God is for me, who can be against me? And so that's what we're going to sing about now as we finish. And thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you all next time.
Looking out, it's a great big world. Where do I go? How do I fit in? Gotta keep this one thing on my mind. The maker of all the universe is on my side. And if God is for me, who can be against me? God is for me, who can be against me? He is my strength, He is my friend forever. God is for me, who can be against me? Yeah, man. God is for me. Looking out, it's a great big world. Where do I go? How do I fit in? Gotta keep this one thing